Wake up, it's Saturday, the sun's on the rise. Matt and Benjamin, they're in for a surprise. Grab your coffee cup and your comfy chair. The Samoflange is calling, there's magic in the air. Saturday morning, it's the time we crave. Top 5 lists that the two hosts gave. Lives and stories, they never get strange. It's Saturday morning, Samoflange. To snacks, to things you adore. Each week's top 5 leaves you begging for more. Matt's got the wit, Ben's got the flair. Together they create a world beyond compare. Turn the dial up, let the podcast play. A whimsical escape to brighten your day. They banter, they bicker, it's all part of the fun. By the end of the hour, you'll wish it wasn't done. Saturday morning, it's the time we crave. Top 5 lists that the two hosts gave. Laughs and stories, they never get strange. It's Saturday morning, Samoflange. They talk about things you never thought you'd need. From wild obsessions to the quirkiest feed. The clock keeps ticking, but you don't even care. With Matt and Ben, you're always in good repair. Saturday morning, it's the time we crave. Top 5 lists that the two hosts gave. Laughs and stories, they never get strange. It's Saturday morning, Samoflange. Oh, Samoflange. They talk about things you never thought you need. From wild obsessions to the quirkiest feed. The clock keeps ticking, but you don't even care. With Matt and Ben, you're always in good repair.
Welcome to there it is. Samoflange. I'm Matt.
I'm Benjamin, and we're in good repair.
We are in good repair. We are.
It's because we go to the gym and we get lots of sun in the summertime.
The funny thing is, they don't realize this, but we listen to the theme song. We don't have to, but we do anyway.
You have to, but we don't have to, but we still do.
You have to, but we don't have
it's
to.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is great. It's awesome.
We even invite our friends sometimes to listen in with us, and they sit over on the couch and just grin the whole time.
So this is a repeat because our other one.
It's sort of a repeat.
It's sort of a repeat because
don't skip this episode.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's the one we've recorded before, but it messed up because my son
pushed buttons, and it
made a bad noise.
Simple. Everybody can figure out what happened.
And the good news is it happens to totally new top 5 because I forgot what the other one was. So, but it's gonna be fun.
That's what I enjoy about doing this, though, is that we both get excited when we're writing our top 5 lists.
And the sad thing is, there's someone who listens to this podcast all the time. Michael, did we have him? Did we put him live on the podcast, or did we call him after the podcast? I think we called him after the podcast.
We called him after.
Yeah.
Yes.
About something that I do want to
mention.
Movie
Theater Michael?
Movie Theater Michael.
We do need to. We should call him now.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So anyway.
Hey, what did I ask? I was with you when I said Matt knows a guy who works in a movie theater, and then I need to ask him about that. Remember?
You know what he was telling us about the red curtain.
Yes, the red curtain, because that's one of my top 5.
And then he told us why.
Why you didn't get the red curtain?
I'm sorry. So go ahead, give your top 5. We'll talk about the curtain when it comes to you.
Well, do you think with your new top 5 list we will have any crossover whatsoever?
Absolutely not now, because I'm talking about certain movies and things that happen in the movies.
So one of my honorable mentions that I had written the first time, because my list hasn't changed. I didn't change anything to my list here because I still had my notes. And so my honorable mention was the red curtain opening when we were younger, and how you'd go to the theater and there were no previews, no commercials, no nonsense like that. And then you had this beautiful red velvet curtain sitting up there.
But
and
when
then
it came up, that's when you got
everybody would be talking. Everybody's having a good time. As soon as that curtain started, like as a hush.
Yeah, there's a big hush. People stop talking.
And it was so disrespectful to keep talking, man, when that curtain went up. Like,
but
come
not
on.
many people did. They respected the curtain. But he was telling us that he misses the curtain because the curtain would open up not the whole way if it was a certain if it was shot in a certain projection.
Exactly, that's what we talked about with him, and then I think that was brilliant. You should text him or something and see if we can get him on while we're recording. But there's letterbox format, and then there's wide format.
And I never noticed that.
And
they did that in something that you didn't
quite catch because they did a good job, because some screens are built to host a 16:9, whatever the frame format is.
And you're not supposed to know this.
No, absolutely not.
It takes care of
So explain who he is real quick and what he does.
Well, he works at a I don't want to dox this guy, but he works at a theater and movie theater. And since we were talking about it, we wanted to ask him about the red carpet. Red curtain, and he gave me that information that I was not expecting, and I was like, whoa, whoa,
yeah.
So I mean, full of knowledge that guy is. But anyway, one of my honorable mentions, my friends were dragging me to what was a romantic comedy, but they were trying to tell me it was a comedy, and I can't remember what it was. 10 Things I Hate About You or something. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or I don't know what it was. Something. But I thought, is this a romantic comedy? I said, no, it's a comedy. It's a comedy. And this is back before you could just look up the trailer online.
Right.
Okay? And I was like, well, like internet existed, but you had to go on a computer, not your phone. And I was like, well, all right. So I didn't know. I said, if it's just a comedy, then I'll go. And the time-honored tradition of stuffing snacks in your pants.
Oh, yeah.
So I snuck some cola in one pants pocket, and the other pants pocket a Snickers bar. And when I walked in there, nothing but a sea of women.
Oh, yeah.
And I got so mad at the girl. I said, this is a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
She said, yes. I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I was getting furious. I said, no, that's BS. I said, you see this Snickers bar? This and me are the only thing with nuts in this theater. You cannot tell me this is just a comedy. And I said it a little too loud.
Yeah.
And the whole
theater heard it.
Was rolling, laughing that I had said that. And the girls could not stop laughing. And I almost marched out. I was so mad. I did not want to go to a romantic comedy.
You had been brought to the whatever the equivalent was of Downton Abbey at the time, or something like that.
Me.
Yeah.
But
do you even remember the movie or enjoying it at all?
I don't remember any 27 dresses or something. It was something. I can't remember.
something.
No, it had a name that didn't. It was borderline. You didn't know if it was How We Met or something like that.
You could have sold it as something.
They sold it to me. I can't remember, but instantly when I walked in,
I got you. Yeah.
All right. So what's your number 5?
Number 5 is the first movie I remember seeing in the movie theater, which
awesome.
is Return of the Jedi. So 1983, I believe it was. The logs especially hitting the AT-ST as it's wobbling down, and when it explodes, and then a few seconds later when the AT-ST, the other one is stepping on the logs, and it whoa, and it falls over sideways and blows up. That's the first thing I remember seeing in the theater. Now, actually, I think we had this conversation as well, because I remember seeing E.T. in the theater, and I think E.T. came out just before Return of the Jedi.
I think E.T. was 84, so I think you're right.
It was I think E.T. was 82 or early 83, and Jedi was late 83. Right. I think. Okay. So E.T. would technically be the first movie that I remember seeing in the theater, because I do remember the ending, and I remember crying, of course. And then as I was walking out, my dad, who I'm really young and like 3 years old, and my friends, my cousins I was with, we all to see the movie, asked my hero father, say, Mr. John, did you cry at the end? He's like, well, I got tears in my eyes, but no, I didn't. He got tears in his eyes, but to this day, my dad still says that E.T. is one of the only 5-star movies he has ever rated 5 stars in his life. Met
Benjamin's dad, he's like the Fremen of Dune. They don't waste water.
They don't waste water.
They don't waste water.
Not. No,
tears,
not on tears.
You don't waste water on tears.
No, my dad is half Vulcan. His emotions are extraordinarily rare. I remember my dad laughing out loud in my lifetime a grand total of 3 times. And crying, forget it. No, E.T. was as close as you're ever going to get.
I think I know one of those times.
Do you really?
Was it when he watched the VHS of Kim's wedding?
It might have been. I don't know.
Because I heard Kim said he laughed at that. I went,
okay.
That's because I didn't know
you got it on tape.
I didn't know we were rolling.
Nah,
I did something a little brash back then as a joke, and it got caught on camera. And I heard it made your dad guffaw.
Well, then that's one of the few.
So funny.
That is one of the few rarities that has ever happened to us. Yes.
I was like, okay, so he laughed, so I'm cool. Okay,
it's all good.
But yeah, I didn't know a camera was rolling.
So top 5 movie moment for me was seeing my dad cry, I guess, awesome. And then the AT-ST started my Star Wars addiction I think so. I was born in '79, so I would have been 3 years old, 4 years old, and that's my first movie memory moment.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Jedi is a great one, and I wasn't thrilled and over the moon. I never had Ewok toys or anything like that. Like the Ewoks were just kind of there for me. It wasn't the story for me. They were just a part of the story, but they weren't the story. I wasn't interested in them as a 4-year-old. I never had a single Ewok anything as a kid, but I loved the movie. I was more into the lightsabers than I was the Ewoks and stuff like that.
I want to say that I think mine was also Jedi because I remember being scared of Darth Vader. I remember us having this conversation. Yeah. I also said that when you were talking about first movie ever, I also remember saying in our original podcast was that I think I remember Empire because I remember standing up and holding onto my seat, and I feel like
because
I remember being afraid of the four-legged walkers.
Oh,
they were so menacing.
Yeah.
Now, Mom and Dad did take us to this because 3 and under was free, and they couldn't afford a babysitter.
Right.
And I was as an infant. The very first movie I went to was Star Wars. My mom said.
There you go.
So those would be memories. Other memories. Now I'm remembering what these other ones were. I'm going to just do a little cliff notes of this. One was the first, the most embarrassing movie I went to because of a girl. I said, "Come on, let's go out. You're cute. What do you want to see?" And she said, "White Fang 2."
Wow.
Not the first one. The second one. I was like,
"Holy moly!" All right.
Then the next time I said, "No, I'm going to pick it." And then I found out, I learned a very valuable dating lesson when the girl goes, "It doesn't matter, you pick." That means you better pick what she wants to see.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that. And instead of
it's a tough
Ever
lesson
After
to learn.
with Drew Barrymore,
you
was
chose
Saving Private Ryan. And I was loving that movie, and she was not. So I remember this now.
She was over there with her arms crossed, just pouting the whole time.
But we're going to do a new number 5 here. The first time I actually theater hopped.
Okay.
The time-honored tradition of theater hopping. Sleepy Hollow, Johnny Depp, 1999.
Is this the one that messed up on you?
It messed up in the theater on me.
That's right.
And then they just started, but we missed like a few seconds because back then the film, it didn't start.
Yeah, there's no internet, whatever.
Yes, and I demanded they give us their money, and they would not give us their money. Fine. And I walked back, and he goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go watch another movie.
I go find another theater with this play."
So we sat in and watched another Sleepy Hollow, but then I said, "We're not done. I'm getting my money's worth." And so we went and watched, I can't remember what else.
You saw another movie after that?
Yeah. Oh, no, theater hopping day. That's really the only time I've ever done that. But I was so mad that they didn't want to give me my money back.
I get that. No, I'd be pissed too.
But
especially
either way,
it like melted or something on you, and you didn't get to see it.
That was back in the day when those things took a while to fix.
Yeah,
I remember the last movie to mess up on me in theaters because now that I don't know if that happens much anymore.
Well, it's not on film.
But Scream 3.
Scream 3
got something happen to it.
Wow.
And I guess they're still using reels back then or whatnot. But now it wouldn't happen. But or I don't know, maybe it does. But the thing is, though, Scream 3 was the last time. But you had to wait like 20 minutes or something.
Oh, yeah. Once it was done, you had to get out and go do that. No, I remember there was a movie that messed up not too long ago, and I got up out of my seat to go tell them it was messed up, and it was fixed by the time I basically left the room.
Yeah, now they can fix it instantly. All right, so what's number 4?
Let's see. Number 4 came from earlier this year, I believe. Wolverine and Deadpool. What was the final one that they did? Was it Wolverine and Deadpool?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at the very end of the movie, I mean, it was a great romp. It was a good theater movie. It was a good movie to see in the theater. Yeah. Good popcorn movie. And I think ended up being one of my favorite moments because at the very end when Wolverine pulls the mask up in slow motion, and then he gets it over his head, and you've got the classic yellow mask, and he's walking in the slow-mo, and the Madonna song kicks in and everything else. As soon as the mask started to come up, I realized immediately what was about to happen. And so by the time he got it on, I was the one starting the applause. I was like, yeah. So like there had been great moments in the movie leading up to that, but no one had spontaneously applauded in the film yet.
You were the kid in the 80s.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
in the hallway,
that's it.
There you go. I always wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
You were that guy.
Started the applause, had a great time. I think we saw that together, didn't we, Beth? With my family. So, yes, I saw it with a big group of great people, and I had witnesses to the moment. So,
you know what? We're going to have a good yin-yang number 4 here.
Hit me with it.
Because this is one that, this involves laughter, but laughter that I thought, don't laugh or we're going to all get killed. So, we talked about this last time, I remember. We talked about the dollar theater.
Yes, the dollar theater.
And how we loved going to the dollar theater.
Absolutely.
Was where right before a movie went out to VHS or video.
There was a timeline.
And it wasn't in theaters.
Yeah.
It was that dead period.
Yeah.
It went to our dollar theater called Eastgate Cinema. And they'd play movies for $1, 50 cents on Tuesdays.
50 cent Tuesdays. I went to several 50 cent
even
movies.
Their concessions were cheap.
Yeah.
So I never snuck food there. I always got my concessions there because I felt like it's like gas station prices.
The M&Ms were old, but you didn't care.
Well, you're paying gas station prices, not
sure.
So I was like, okay, this isn't bad. And if you wanted to catch a movie one more time before it went to video, or
you never got to see it in the first place,
you wanted to go see it,
but also there was a considerable delay before VHS came out too. A lot of times,
yeah, there was. And so we had
there's a couple movies on right now that were just in the movie theater, or that we went last week, and there were 2 movies that the poster is still up, and then we went home and on the streaming service you could buy it. Literally, and the poster is still up at the theater, but you could go home and buy it and watch it again. That's the disconnect.
And that was the magic. And I miss Eastgate a lot.
Yeah.
Now Eastgate at night
was sketch.
It's a little sketch.
Yeah, little
sketch there. And so we happened to go Eastgate at night. We happened to go see a movie called Nothing to Lose with Martin Short. No, and
I don't know if I've seen that.
Tim Robbins.
Wow.
A young Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
And it's the white guy gets involved with the black world and he's kind of a fish out of water comedy thing. And we were the only Tim Robbins in the theaters. And a lot of Martin Short jokes were told.
Oh, were they?
And
Martin Short is not.
Is Tim Robbins allowed to laugh at a Martin Short joke in this theater? Was the question. And I remember Kerr was his name who went with us.
Yeah.
And we weren't laughing. I was like, I don't know if we can laugh at this.
You were scared to laugh?
Yeah, we were scared to laugh. And so anyway, Martin Short comes in. This is after there's a scene where they get beaten up. And his mama, it's a funny scene. His mama comes in. What you doing coming into my house looking like a bruised up turd? And I was like, dude. I was like, Well, then Kerr goes, ha! Bruised up turd. And I was like, I don't think we can laugh at that.
Bruised up turd, yeah.
But I remember thinking, man, this movie's funny. And I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh at it at night.
I'm going to have to watch this on VHS.
I'm going to have to guffaw into my coat a little bit. But everyone else is laughing. So, But either way, though, Nothing to Lose. I'm going to put that at number 4.
That's fantastic. No, that's a great story. That's a great story.
Number 3.
Let's see. I had a great moment. It's just one of those that's always going to stick with me. My girlfriend at the time, we went to see a movie. I had just started working from home, like remotely. Like this was way before COVID. So it would have been a couple of years before anybody knew and understood what working from home meant. They thought that meant you just stayed in your pajamas all day and you got paid. And that's, of course, now we all know that's not how it works. And I never got to complain about my job because people are like, it doesn't matter because you're at home and you're in your pajamas all day. And so blah, blah, blah. Okay. The only good thing that happened from COVID for me is now I can complain about my job. And people don't bat an eye because they understand that it's not as easy as they thought it was. But so I was working from home and my girlfriend was over at the time. And she had a terrible day and just came in and I ended up getting her ice cream and all this other stuff. And it's like, you know what? We had our ice cream. It was literally like 3:00 in the afternoon. And I had a meeting coming up on like a Wednesday. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I don't need to go to this stupid meeting. They can do this without me. Why don't we just go to the movies and go see something and we can pick whatever we want, and just you'll have the movie theater to ourselves. Yeah. And I remember it was like August, I believe, so it was still really hot outside. And so we were like, let's just go find some industrial powered air conditioning and just go sit in a dark theater by ourselves and just have the movie to ourselves. So we did. And we went to see some thriller mystery, kind of murder mystery sort of thing. It wasn't that memorable. The movie was okay. It was fine. But we sat in the very center, had the entire theater to ourselves, which is always a fun thing. I enjoyed that when there's literally no one else in the movie theater and you've got 300 seats around you, like the big theater too. And so we just sat up in the movie theater and the movie started and then she cuddled up onto me and then I said something sweet and then she just like glatched on with both arms and both legs and then we sat there and we pulled the seat up, the little armrest, so we had a little cuddle session, basically, for 2 hours in the dark in the middle of summer. I blew off a meeting, and she blew off something else, and we were just, it was just us in the movie theater, and it was just a beautiful kind of moment.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's
it's something that I'll never forget, and it's definitely my top 3, and it is my number 3. So.
Well, my number 3 is episode 3.
Okay. Gear shift.
I was
episode 3, really?
This is back when they didn't do reserved seating, so I had to make
sure.
Yeah,
you had to get there in line.
I'd bought my ticket, but I had to get there in line to get a good seat.
Yes, exactly.
And so
that's something that's unheard of now.
I was friends with someone who was still in college. She was into photography. She wanted to do a shoot.
Oh, the photography.
And so what it was is they had to do the eyeliner on me to make the eyes pop. And she straightened out my hair. Mm-hmm. At the time, I had long hair. One of the 2 times. COVID was the second time I've ever grown it out. But I'd grown it out because it was kind of in rebellion. I'd been with the bank for so long, and now I was with DirecTV, and I just wanted to grow it out.
Sure.
Straightened out, it was even longer. And so I took photos, and then
hair straightened and eyeliner added.
Eyeliner on.
But you told her I got to be at the theater.
Black jeans, gray, it was supposed to be black and white thing. So it almost looked a little goth. And then I said, "What time is it?" And she told me. Well, I looked at the watch. I was like, "Oh no, I got to go." Yeah. So I went without even thinking what I looked like.
Right.
And everyone kind of going, "Oh, is this like dark Matt, like dark Anakin?" And I was like, "No, oh no." Didn't realize you need makeup remover to get the because I tried to put water on it, and that's not going to work. And I was like, "Oh no, this is terrible." Mm-hmm. So I was kind of embarrassed showing up there, but I didn't want to leave and lose my.
No, you can't lose your spot.
I have to sit there for 4 hours. Yeah, that line isn't going to sit by itself.
And the movie paid off for you.
Well, the movie, everyone was fighting with lightsabers, having a great time. This is the movie director had come in and said, no, the theater owner said, "Hey," he said, "if you keep
put the lightsabers away,
I'm going to take them away from you, put them in a bag, and keep them." And then they said, "Well, he can't." He said we couldn't do force powers, and then they're doing force powers. Then I ran down there and said, "I said stop doing your force powers. If you don't, I'll chop off your hands."
In a perfect mockery of this guy,
just mocked him. And everyone started roaring with laughter. And then I saw he was still there.
He was still there, and he was looking at you with his arms crossed.
I was like, and I was literally scared. Like, if I get kicked out of this movie, I'm going to die.
Yeah,
I can't get kicked out of the midnight.
So you
showing.
sheepishly went back to your seat and.
I did afterwards.
Stayed quiet.
Oh, well, yeah, I stayed low. I read low. He was not happy with me mocking him, but that was great. That was my number 3. All right, so number 2.
Number 2 is a conglomeration of 1, 2, 3, 4 movies for me. So the ones that I have combined are essentially I put them under the heading of audience gasp, because in live theater we get this a little bit more often. You have, like, there was a play I did called Noises Off, very funny comedy, physical comedy, and I would fall down the stairs and I'd get all the way to the bottom and I would slap my forearm against the stage and it would pop really loud, and I would get as close to the edge of the stage as I could so that I could scare the bejesus out of the old lady sitting in the front. And every single night I would pop my arm deliberately on and get a loud crack, and then I would see the pearls being clutched in the front row. And that's a crowd gasp that you hear fairly frequently in the theater, but not too frequently in the movie theater.
No.
So my crowd gasp is number 2. Number 1 is the alien reaching under the door in Signs. The Mel Gibson movie Signs, when that hand comes out, whoosh, whoosh, like scene. I still think about that. I still talk about that. The whole audience pushed back in their chair and lost it. It was so good. The Spider-Man No Way Home reaction, whenever the portal or the 3 Spider-Men are coming out, Tobey Maguire comes out of the portal. I got them all together. That big audience gasp, like, "No way is Tobey coming!" And everybody's talking to each other. The Infinity War reaction, so the end of Infinity War with the portals and everybody shows up, and it was just it was a good movie, but not everybody had the experience of seeing it in the theater where the entire audience reacted to the portal, because we hadn't seen it yet, and it was such a cool, like, holy crap, are they doing this?
Big moment.
And it was a big moment. And then the last one, which is one of my absolute favorites, was because it is a bit more obscure, is Godzilla, the first American Godzilla mega movie that they made, not the classic ones from but one of the first ones they did. And then I've been a Godzilla fan for years, but when he first charges up his lightning, I was sitting in a movie theater, and it was in Bismarck, North Dakota, of all places. But this place had an epic level sound system, or
really?
They had a manager, a movie theater manager, who didn't care what the setting was supposed to be on.
And cranked it up.
He cranked it up.
That's awesome.
And so the bass reverberated.
Oh, wow.
In
made
this,
you feel like it was charging
holy
up the whole...
smoke. So, you know, when Sauron explodes in The Lord of the Rings, you've seen that clip.
Yes.
I know you're not a fan of those movies, but
I've seen the movie.
the clip when he explodes and and the bass rumbles throughout. This is the opposite of that. So when Godzilla's charging up, he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it just got built and built and built. And it was fully cranked. Man, the hair on my arms was standing up. It was so much sound.
Nice.
Like, I have never heard the bass in a movie theater that cranked up ever since that Godzilla moment. But, like, I think everybody screamed in a way because I was excited to see Godzilla spit some lightning at this bad guy or whatever it was. Yeah. But also, the whole audience was just like, what is happening right now? Is this a 4X movie that we're going to see?
That's all.
So it was just a cool charge up, and everybody, the collective audience gasp is one of my favorite things performance theater-wise. But it's also my absolute favorite things because it's so rare.
Yeah,
and I think the actual movie theater sort of thing.
Nice.
Collective gasp is my number 2.
Collective gasp. Number 2 is episode 2.
Okay.
But
there's no collective gasp on the other end of this podcast. Everybody gets it, you know.
Something. I was going down. Bruce from Prince of the Universe. He was living in Baton Rouge at the time. We were taking turns driving up and back. He'd come up to Monroe, watch one. I'd go down to Baton Rouge, and I drove down to Baton Rouge to watch episode 2. Bought a ticket. My cousin wimped out on me.
The Baton Rouge. Yes.
One of my an old friend I knew from high school. They said, "Hey, she's interested." I said, "Sure, bring her." And she was kind of mousy back in the day, and then she grew up, and she's not mousy anymore.
She's not mousy
anymore.
Yeah,
so I was like,
She took her glasses off.
She took her
mid-movie.
Yeah, she's Superman. But anyway, so I was like, wow, okay. So I'm laying the smacketh down, and I was also actively pursuing someone up here, but it wasn't a thing yet. I was just actively pursuing. And so Bruce, who's totally oblivious.
That was all Bruce knew.
I'm laying the smack down, just goes, hey, how's it going with that girl you're trying to get with up in...
Is she sitting in between you as he said this?
Totally. He might as well be. He put a board over my...
Big bucket of cold water on...
I don't know what type of block that is. I believe it's called something in the college kid dictionary. But anyway, I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
he's like, yeah, the girl.
No,
he said the girl's name.
He just kept going. Oh, Bruce.
So, yeah, totally ruined it. But anyway, so that's number 2. So go to number 1.
That was the reason? That was in your number 2? That sounds like
funny.
A terrible memory.
I've told this story. It's a funny story now. I look back on it. It's very funny. But I was like, shut up. And he just kept going. And he wasn't getting it. He wasn't getting it. He truly wasn't getting it.
We all have that friend that just doesn't get it. It's, they take a while to catch on, so it's cool.
I know.
My number 1 movie theater moment was in Theater 9 in Eugene, Oregon. This is during the midnight showing when we talked about this with our friend, your movie friend, why they don't do midnight showings anymore. Oh,
yes, we did.
Because we said the Batman movie had a shooting in Colorado somewhere, and then that was a part of the safety issue. They do not do midnight showings anymore. So this was one of the... Back in the old days, we used to do midnight showings for the big screenings of the big new hot releases. And Harry Potter was one of the movies that became famous for midnight book releases. So I would wait in line for the books as they came out at Books A Million at midnight. And then, take turns reading it, the chapter by chapter kind of thing, until the wee hours of the morning. And then similarly, when the movies came out, midnight release, typically in full costume. So... This was, I think, the second to last movie or the last movie. So the last Harry Potter movie was split into 2 parts, right? So 2 or 3 years apart. 2 years apart, perhaps. But either way, costumes and midnight showings were the rage. And this was in Eugene, Oregon, so lots of weirdos up there. Like, it's a weird city, and they love it that way. The slogan of Portland, Oregon is Keep Portland Weird. That's literally their slogan. So in Eugene, not too far away from Portland... We had, it's called Cinema 9. It was a 9-theater, or it was a 15 multiplex theater. All 15 screens were showing Harry Potter at midnight, and they were all sold out, every single one. And just about everybody was dressed up in full costume from the show, from the movie, some character. I was the only one dressed as Arthur Weasley. So I had a bright red wig on, Scottish outfit, and just had the whole Arthur Weasley classic dad get up going from the movies. And it was wonderful because I had so many children there. Because there were tons of Rons and tons of Fred and Georges and tons of Percy Weasley, but there was only one Arthur. And then eventually I found another woman who was dressed as Molly Weasley.
Oh,
nice. And so I got to have a wife and about 100 kids for one night. And they all called me dad. And I had
stepchildren.
And I had I had all the redheaded stepchildren, and I had the missus, and we had a terrific time.
That's great.
And so I made a lot of friends. I made friends waiting in line that I still have today. Like, just met them in line at Harry Potter that I still chat with and like celebrate their victories online and stuff with them together. Because we met in line waiting for Harry Potter.
That's awesome.
And so that's the setup for the best part, because the best part is that I was so enchanted by everyone's costume because the movie started at midnight, but you had to get in line around, I don't guess, 9, 10 maybe, because they wouldn't even open the theater until 11. So you could only get in there like an hour before. And then you had an hour of nothing to do, right? So 11 o'clock comes around. We all go to our different theaters, but we've already been hanging out with each other. And I was sad that we weren't able to get a picture of all these amazing costumes because we all got split up into different ones. And I happened to be assigned to Theater 9, which was the biggest by far of the multiplexes they had. Right. So it had the most seats. So what I did was I said, okay, you guys stay here. And then they did trivia. So my friends that I went with, they made up a trivia game, and they went down to the front and they yelled out Harry Potter trivia. And then if the person got it right, they would throw a Snickers bar at them or a Reese cup or something like that. It was shortly after Halloween, so we had a bunch of Halloween candy too, I think. And so literally, this is just stuff that we came up with. We're going to make trivia questions up about Harry Potter, and if nobody gets it right, we'll give them a candy bar. And so that's what they started to do. And then I got kind of bored, and I went around. I was like, I'm going to go check on those other guys that had those pictures or had those great costumes. And then I ended up going to all other the 14 theaters. And the costumes were so good that I told everybody, just on the spur of the moment, I had the idea, hey, at 11:45, everybody's going to meet in Theater 9, and we're all going to take one giant picture with everybody dressed up. So if you're in full costume, come to Theater 9 at 11:45, and then we're going to take the picture, and then we'll all go back to our theaters and watch the movie. So I went to all 14 of the other seatings and told everybody this plan. And then by the time I got around to about the 10th one, management had caught on, and they followed me in to the next theater. And I didn't say anything to them. They didn't say anything to me. But I made my little announcement. I pointed out a few people. I was like, you should come, you should come, you should come. You're fully dressed as Hagrid. You're fully dressed. They had the whole Quidditch team there. There was like
That's awesome.
There was like a soccer team, I think it was, like a real-life soccer team.
That's awesome.
But they all had matching Quidditch robes and brooms and like black under their eyes and everything else. And it was perfect. So we got all of them, all my children, all the Weasleys. We had tons of Death Eaters, tons of Harrys and everything else. But the point is that management heard me doing this and like, well, he's not doing anything wrong, whatever. And they let me. And so they kind of followed me around. And then I went back to my theater at about 11:30, 11:35. It's like, hey, I told everybody to come at 11:45 and we're going to take a really big group picture. And sure enough, just before 11:45, people start wandering in, looking around. And I went down to the very front. And I got everybody together. I was like, look down here, guys. And then people kept piling in. And eventually the entire front of the theater was filled to the brim if people dressed head to toe in Harry Potter full-on costumes. We had a Mad Eye Moody with a peg leg and the wobbly eye and everything. And then every character you can imagine from Harry Potter was all down front. And so everybody handed their phone to somebody who wasn't dressed up in the theater, and they all took pictures. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. When I get home, I'm going to create a Facebook group, and I'm going to call it Theater 9 Pictures or whatever the theater's name was. And I'm going to say it's Pictures at Theater 9, and I'll ask it. So everybody look for that group, and and then join it, and you can add your photos from your phone. And that's what we did. So I went home that night and I created the Facebook group, and it still exists. Like, it's still out there. I'm still the admin of it or whatever.
That's hilarious.
And everybody added a ton of pictures from what they had posted, and so we all have. And so that's one of my favorite photos. It's a wide shot because you couldn't get it any other way. They had to get way up into the theater to get everybody.
Awesome.
And then just great pictures, everybody having a great time, and they just kept clicking. Everybody take pictures, just kept going. No one posed. We didn't do 1, 2, 3. We might have done 1, 2, 3, but basically we all just kind of looked and we chalked, and I had my arms around Molly and Arthur, or
now if only that photo
all my
move.
Kids. And if that photo can move now.
Move now with AI, yes it can.
That's a great idea. I might have to figure that out.
There you go, Harry Potter, that thing.
So anyway, that was my best moment in the movie
I
theater.
love that one. My number one is episode 1. Always happy to see Star Wars come back in theaters. I've told this story, I know, on Fix the Universe before, and I know I told it last time.
So 1999, circa 1999.
But right the week before is when I was going to see another movie, and I asked the girl for popcorn and drink. She said, anything else? I said, yes, your number. And she said, are you serious? I said, no, I'm kidding. And I said, hey, but let me ask you a question. Is it true that y'all get to see movies a day before they release? She went, yeah, usually. We see them like the weekend. I said, so like you're going to see episode 1 before anyone else? She went, yeah. I said, do you get to bring anyone?
She said, yeah.
Goes, yeah, we can bring a +1 to the event. I went, well, what do you think about bringing me? And she went, I think you should have been serious about my number.
Got him.
Great.
Got him.
That was great.
It was perfectly
That
timed.
was great.
It was like it should have been in a
Burn.
sitcom.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't write that.
And that's what I said. The last time you told me that story was I said we need to write a story where that happens to the hero in the movie. I bet you should have been serious about asking for my number then, weren't
That's
you?
great. That was classic. Classic. But anyway, all right. So, folks, your favorite moments in a movie theater. Let us know.
Whether it was sound, visual effects, could have been just your favorite movie. I don't care. Just tell me about your favorite experience in a theater.
And we'll see you next time on
Saturday
Morning
Samoflange.